You're about to watch me read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. My expectations for this book are honestly really high because of how much I love the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I want to call it series though because that was not an ending. And I found out that this is actually the original series and that was the spinoff. So I devoured those books in I read them in one sitting, I swear, per day. Those were so good. I love them so much. Even though there was nothing super unique about them either, but I just absolutely loved them. It was just so much fun. And so I'm really excited about this one because I can't wait to have that same kind of magical, whimsical feeling that I had reading the other books. I just hope that it lives up to that. So from my understanding, Caraval is basically a book about a carnival kind of performance. It kind of gives me Night Circus vibes, although I didn't really like Night Circus, so hopefully it's not like that. But essentially, there's this main character named Scarlett, and she has her sister, I think Tella's her name. And Scarlett has always wanted to see the Caraval, and for whatever reason, it's she never did. I think it's invite only or something. And then her sister or one of them is gonna be getting married, it's an arranged marriage, and she thinks, oh, I'm gonna lose my chance. But then her invite comes in the mail and she's like, oh, this is great. So she goes off to go see the performance and finds out that it's all about her sister. And they say that it's just a performance and whoever the first person is to find her sister wins. And so there is some ties in of magic and romance and mystery and stuff. So it sounds really compelling and I am pretty excited about it. So let's crack this book right open. I'm a little bit more than 100 pages into Caraval, and here are my thoughts so far. I'm so obsessed with Stephanie Garber's writing. It's so magical and it's so whimsical, and it makes me feel so warm and fuzzy no matter what the story is. I think what really stands out about her writing is how it taps into all of the different senses that you have. So she's very good at tapping into your sense of smell and your sense of taste, your sense of feeling, whereas I find a lot of books, they of course do that, but not to the same degree. She's really good at zoning in on, I think especially that flavor. You can taste stuff that you wouldn't usually taste. For instance, when characters are describing the walls, she had compared it to a wine kind of chocolate cake. Something like that, you can just taste it, you can imagine it, you can smell it, you can see it, even though it's just a wall and it has nothing to do with wine or chocolate, but you get that sense of what it's all about. And that's what makes her writing, in my opinion, just so fantastic and so magical. So the story itself, from what I've read so far, is about a woman named Scarlett and her younger sister Donatella, also known as Tella. And they have a pretty unfortunate home life. Their dad is very violent, and so Scarlett, being the older sister, had kind of taken on that motherly sort of role because their mother had mysteriously disappeared. And so Scarlett really just wants to make Tella happy and comfortable and just have a good life. And so she's been writing to Caraval, which is this magical performance, trying to convince them to come to their little island and do their little performance then. But it's not what you'd imagine it to be. It's not like a traveling circus. There's so much more to it that I haven't really discovered 100%, but just from what I've seen, it's not what you think it is. It's so magical and whimsical and dangerous as well. And so for so many years, Scarlett has continued to write to Caraval, and kind of the man who's in charge of it is named Legend. And she's been writing him these letters every single year, please come here. It's for my sister, it's for me. We can't go anywhere else. But then one day, a letter comes and it's personally inviting Scarlett and Tella to be honored guests at Caraval. The problem, of course, though, is it's not in their little kind of like town. And their dad, he's a really bad guy. If Tella does something, he'll punish Scarlett in front of her and vice versa, because he knows how much they care about each other. And he had drowned people before for trying to help the girls escape that kind of like situation. And as you can guess, like, Scarlett is scared and she doesn't want her sister to have that same outcome that happened to the man who tried to help her and ended up drowning. But of course her sister doesn't know that. So some events ensue, and of course they end off going to Caraval. However, they don't go together. The sailor guy who's kind of introduced at the beginning of the book is actually the person who's with Scarlett at this time. Now, I only know because I read the summary of the book that Tella is not supposed to be there. She's kind of like a prize in a way, which I really hope that doesn't mean what I think it means, because that doesn't sit well with me. Gross. But anyways, she and the sailor, Julian, are kind of like forced to be together, and she's pretending, well, he started it, but is pretending that they're engaged, because Scarlett actually is engaged, and she's supposed to be getting married in like 10 days. And so one of the invitations was for Scarlett and her fiance, but she's never actually met her fiance. It's like an arranged marriage. So she and Julian are pretending to be together because Julian wouldn't have been able to go in, and there's like whole reasons behind why he was even there. And so yeah, that's where I am right now. I love how just bam, right into the story this book goes. The same with Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I imagine that this is just like a continuous trend with Stephanie Garber, and I'm so into it. There's nothing I love more than just being whisked away into a story instead of like having to wait 100+ pages for something remotely exciting to happen. But this book is not like that. All of Stephanie Garber's books are like, bam, right into the action, here you go. And like the opening line of this book was so good. I love this. I'm having so much fun with this, and yeah. So I'm going to continue to read, and I will update you when I hit the halfway mark, so I will see you then. I'm now about halfway through Caraval, and I don't care how predictable and like lame and cheesy it can be. I love it. Caraval world is so interesting. So I was trying to explain earlier that it's not like a circus. It's not like a circus. It's basically like a city, but like a magical kind of city that somehow like travels around. And so all these people are here, and they're trying to solve this like game, and whoever wins the game gets a prize at the end, and the prize for this one is like one wish. And so it's really interesting to see like all the characters trying to figure out clues. So there's a bit of mystery, there's so much magic. It's so Stephanie Garber's writing, I cannot stop talking about her writing. It is so good, and I'm just so obsessed with it, and I can't stop reading it, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I want to do this and this. And like one of the big reveals that just kind of happened, again, it's super predictable, but I don't care because I really like it. And just like the forms of payment in Caraval are super interesting. It's like the last lie you told is a way to pay. Two days of your life is another way to pay, or a truth about something, or like your greatest desire. So like you trade information or life for information to continue forward with the game, and there's different ways to like solve the kind of like the puzzle. There's not just one way to do it. Some people can find other ways, and it kind of leads, so it doesn't matter if the main character finds like a clue and keeps it for herself, because there's other clues as well, and it's just so much fun. I also really like the kind of darker aspects of this book. There's a lot of focus on becoming mad and like madness, and trying to figure out, is this reality or is this part of the game? And so a lot of those lines tend to blur in this game, in this world, and it's like, is this part of the game? Am I losing my mind? And some people actually do go mad, and I really like that, and it's so much fun. And I know there's 2 more books, which I do own, which will be a lot of fun, but I wonder like where it's gonna go. But I trust Stephanie Garber, because Once Upon a Broken Heart, she found a great way to make it into 3 books minus the ending that I pretend didn't happen. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to read Caraval and have a great time, and I will update you about the halfway mark or when I finish the book. So I'll see you in my next update. I'm almost done Caraval, and like, this book is so good. I love it so much. This book is so fast paced. It's so much fun. The characters are just so much fun to follow around. I don't really think the romance in this one is nearly as good as Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I think that was because like Evangeline and Jax, they had like that you can't kiss him or you'll die kind of tension. Whereas in this one, she can kiss whoever she wants. There's not really any consequences to that. So I don't think it's as good in that kind of like domain, but the rest of it, it's so much fun. It's magical, it's whimsical, it's dark. There's a lot of like madness and murder, and it's a vibe. And because it's so fast paced, so much stuff has already happened. So obviously I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but just know that I'm on the last day of Caraval, which you kind of see in like the, oh, almost showed you a spoiler there. The last night of Caraval, and I'm so excited to see like where it's gonna go, especially because there's like 2 more books, so I'm like, I'm super excited. Okay, so yeah, that's my kind of little update. I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I love Stephanie Garber's writing so much. The romance isn't as good, but it's still good, and I love just like the dark aesthetic of this book. So I'm gonna continue to read it, and I will update you when I'm done with my final thoughts. I just finished Stephanie Garber's Caraval, and I have the second book immediately that I'm gonna have to read. But yeah, I had so much fun reading this book. Oh my goodness. Magical, whimsical, murder, mysteries, a few surprises honestly here and there. But one of the characters I can't say that I really like that much, because towards the end it's like, haha, yes, I traumatized you, and it actually was like, it's okay, you know? And it's like, no, like there's so many other ways that that character could have gone around what they were trying to do instead of traumatizing another character. Even though obviously things have kind of been wrapped up, it still happened. The character still witnessed it. They're still gonna have those memories and those feelings and those nightmares about what happened. I just felt like there was a way better way that character could have gone around doing what they did. And it's very hard to not to spoil all that, but I did my best there. But I really enjoyed it. It wraps up kind of the conclusion of Scarlett's character. I'm imagining the next book is going to be about a different character. Obviously I'm not going to spoil who, because there's a bunch of different characters that were introduced in this book. So I'm really excited to see like where that goes, learn more about Legend. I am not sure if Jax is part of this series, because he's in Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I imagine he makes some kind of appearance, but I'm not really sure. But I'm very hopeful because I miss my boy. I miss my boy Jax. He's so good. But yeah, I think that I will be awarding Caraval a total of 4 stars. It wasn't as good as Once Upon a Broken Heart, but it still had everything that I fell in love with the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. It made my heart so warm and fuzzy. It had me on the edge of my seat. I could not stop turning the pages. Like, the pacing of this book is just so good. And I really love just the world that Stephanie Garber has created, as well as just the Caraval world and how at nighttime the magic happens, but in the morning it doesn't. And just all the little small things that happen, like when she drank the cider and all the colors disappeared. I was like, whoa, like that's super cool. And again, I've talked about the writing 100 times already, but the writing is peak. So as you can guess, I will now be reading Legendary by Stephanie Garber, which is the second book in the Caraval trilogy. So I'm very excited. If you're interested in watching me read this book, definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you enjoyed this video and if you enjoy Caraval or Once Upon a Broken Heart, or I don't know if Stephanie Garber has made any other books, but any other books by her, definitely hit the like button and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!